There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonkō Table. That is the voice of GrandMasterHoop you are hearing coming at you to talk about the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's right, everyone. The 6-episode Star Wars miniseries has come to a final conclusion. I mean, we assume, but was it the finale we all wanted? Were we given everything we wanted from this short miniseries? I am not alone to discuss this as we venture into a galaxy far, far away. But if you want to be a part of the discussion too, make sure you join the Patreon and join the Discord for further discussion breaking this down. But I'm not alone tonight to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. With me, as always, is DrJaceAttorney. DrJaceAttorney, was this the finale you wanted?
No. No, it was not.
Okay, that's fine.
That's not to say there were not good parts in the episode, but there were other ones that part of me makes me believe that the showrunners recorded this fight scene, which we'll get into. They recorded this grand fight scene first, and then everything else with the series, everything before, they're like, okay, now we got to build a story around this fight scene. We know we want them to fight, but now we gotta do the hard part. We gotta write the story that leads up to the fight and what happens afterwards. There were good parts. There were bad parts. For me, we'll get into it. But again, for a finale, I was expecting something close to perfection. Not perfection, but I expected to walk out of the finale like, wow, despite the season being, having its ups and downs, that finale rocked it. Wow. I did not walk out like that from the finale. That's just me. We'll get into it, but that's where I stand right now. And yeah, we'll see.
Very, very nice. I don't know how many times you can avoid saying it was mid without saying it was mid, but good job. But hey, we're not alone. There are some supernovas in the house. Let's hear who's going to be joining us tonight. All right, let's get into it, gentlemen. It's plain and simple. When you have a mini series, it has a definitive endpoint. A mini series is to end, and the biggest question is, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey. Did the journey of Obi-Wan Kenobi constitute this series? Meaning, does this series? And we're talking about the whole thing now. We're going to talk about the finale and just the series as a whole. Was the journey worth it? Did you leave this saying, I'm really glad this is an entry in the live action Star Wars series? What do y'all think?
Go ahead, Toasty. I know you're itching. Go ahead.
Thank you. I want my money back. Because honestly, I should have been paid to watch this garbage fester. It was a horrible show from the beginning. The ending was garbage, and I hate the fact that they kept hyping it up. Because every week we had the excuse that next week is going to be better. Next week is going to be better. You know what? First time, shame on me. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, shame on you. And actually, shame on some of y'all for allowing this show to be praised even a little bit. For God's sake.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna say this, and it's almost to a point of Dr. Jace's point about them centering the story to get to this final confrontation between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. The journey for those two characters, I think, was worth it. Everything else did not work.
You see,
they kind of just, like Dr. J said, they try to center it around to this end point. And they forgot what constitutes a good story.
But That's the issue. The fight scene was probably the only good thing in the episode, and I'm not sure if you guys caught it. It was really a copy and paste of what happened with Ahsoka when she fought Vader. The same way she caught his mask, the same way he was angry. I killed Anakin. It was a copy and paste. It was a lazy writing. They literally said, "Oh, people like this. Let's just copy and paste it. Nobody's gonna notice." Nah, you fool. If I can notice it, and I'm not a Star Wars fan, I hate this goddamn universe. The real fans are gonna notice.
I'm gonna say that let's keep it general right now. We're gonna get into that fight scene and we're gonna break it down. Dr. Jace, did you want to add any more to your first point that you were saying? Well,
it was garbage.
Centering around this confrontation.
No, just again, like we'll get into the fight once we get to it, but it's just everything. Like even let's even seclude it to this episode. I was really not invested in anything that was happening in this specific episode unless Obi-Wan and Vader were involved. I feel like the show was kind of struggling with its supporting cast and trying to find characters to really reel you in, like O'Shea Jackson, right?
O'Shea.
Oh,
wait, who's
God.
that?
That's Roken. That's Ice Cube.
The black guy.
Yeah.
That's Ice Cube's son?
Yeah.
Right. Yes, it is.
Damn. No wonder he can't act. Personality is icy.
I like that. Was funny.
You're welcome.
I don't care for his character. I really don't. Like, I understand what type of character he's trying to portray. You know, someone that is still hopeful in trying to save the Jedi and resist against the Empire and their tyrannical ways. I don't know. Like, maybe he didn't get enough scenes. Maybe they didn't show him doing a lot in the scenes that he was given. I swear in like a couple weeks, I'm likely not going to remember his character.
No, we're going to forget
his
him.
name.
Yeah. I don't remember his
Roken,
name right now.
Roken.
Until you told me this right now, I had seen this episode earlier today in the afternoon. I didn't remember his name.
You're also really bad with names, though.
I am terrible with names. However, I do remember. Actually, no, I don't remember. I called him Kaling.
Yeah, enough.
Either way, besides the name, the character, I'm just not here for him.
You're just supposed to know he's a leader of the original leader of the rebels. Yes, the path right. Which leads into the rebel, and we don't know anything about him because he's never shown in any other content. Right? This is our original character.
Yes, this is a brand new character.
Okay, you see, that's kind of the positive. That's kind of the positive part because it's our original character. They can go anywhere with him with any other future Star Wars show.
This could have been a tease. It could have just been a tease. I'm like, oh,
but
look.
Again, that's the bad part because he's the original character. He didn't have enough scenes for us to care about him now. The next time we're going to see this fool is probably in Ahsoka next year. And I'm willing to bet the first episode, we're going to probably question ourselves. Who the hell is this man? Nobody's going to remember.
Listen, I gotta stop y'all. Y'all are derailing this.
We'll rail it back on. We are not going to get into a deep dive of Roken, who's only appeared in like 3 episodes. Right. We are not getting into him. He is an afterthought. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay. I'm sure we're never gonna see his character again. It's not a question mark. Many of these characters you're not gonna see again. Okay. Unless this show gets a season 2, but it's listed as a mini series. But just side note, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen said that they would be very interested in doing a second season, which I do not want. But yes, go ahead. Listen. The actors are interested. They're interested. Yes, that's all. Yeah. I know. I'm definitely aware of that. But let's just get into the nitty gritty of it all. Obi-Wan as a character in this episode, and y'all are alluding to this, with Roken, Haja is Kingo, Kumail Nanjiani, from Eternals, Toasty. Come on,
I don't know any of those names. I'm sorry.
Oh, your favorite movie? You don't know any of their names?
Kingo, his character.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
So I think Obi-Wan's journey through this series is from broken down Ben to what we get in this episode. It's good. I think the end result is good. This is where he's gonna be like by episode 4 in his mentality, you know. However, I don't believe the journey was there. A lot of times throughout this whole series, and including this episode, it's just a bunch of people kind of, you know, reiterating the fact to Obi-Wan that all hope is lost. We're down on our luck. And Obi-Wan's like, how much time do you need? He wants me. I'll go. And that was literally the first bit of this episode was like Roken, y'all's favorite, being like, you know,
Yes.
oh, the hyperspeed's down and whatnot. And I don't know. I feel that moment when Obi-Wan was telling everybody, he's like, he wants me. I need to go. You're Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why are you telling these people and giving them an explanation? Just go and do the damn thing.
Well, they don't want him to go.
No. He knows he has to go. And one girl was like, I thought we all stick together. Who are you? Who are you?
I had to pause because I was thinking, like, what does she mean? Does she know her? Does she know Obi-Wan? Why is she
I thought it
saying
was
that?
Layla. Oh my god.
We have to stick together. But Obi-Wan decides, no, I will go fight my former apprentice in
Actually,
a very dark place.
quick question. I know they mentioned the hyperspeed was down. I assume it was down because the Star Destroyer was shooting at them. Is that correct?
No, it was down before.
Before? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
They mentioned it was down in the last episode.
So, okay. That makes sense why they caught up. Why? Because that was my first instinct. Star Destroyer caught up real quick to them. So, I mean, I assume the Star Destroyer has to be naturally slow because of how big it is. But then again, it could be really fast because of how big the engines are. But the fact that...
Think about it like this, too. They were parked. They were parked outside the planet, you know,
but
Right.
you see...
facing the planet.
No, let's keep going because I have a complaint about this next portion then. But yeah, let's keep going.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, the whole Obi-Wan having to repeatedly explain himself, because it happens twice. He talks to Roken twice about having to do this.
I must go. He wants
Right,
me.
right. And then Roken's like, oh, you're going for him. You're not going for us. And it's like, well, yeah, that's obvious, man. Like either way, he's got to go. And that's what I feel like these side characters are here to really just
They don't
do
have
nothing.
anything. They don't
have
to
anything,
say.
right.
They have nothing to
They
say
have
except
nothing to
state
say.
the blatantly obvious.
They're too
Right.
eager to die. They're too eager to die. The man said, he's after me. Let me lead him away. No, we stick together. We die together. The hell are you going to
Right.
do against Darth Vader, my man? Like, for God's sake.
We're
Let the man-
family. We're
He
family.
wants y'all to live.
Family, they just met each other.
That-
They're not
that
even
part too.
acquaintances.
But he's a Jedi.
Oh,
Wait,
and
he knows he's a Jedi, right?
Wait,
no,
no,
he's a Jedi because
Okay.
Yeah.
in his speech he was like, "You have been protecting Jedi for 10 years.
Right.
Let me protect you."
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's my whole thing about Obi-Wan's journey is that during this journey, the only person he really sought to protect is Leia. The whole series, minus the quarrel they got in.
Actually, first it was
week.
just Luke.
First it was
he
just Luke.
Very just fixated on Luke.
Right.
I mean, he was even reluctant to go after Leia when
Yes.
Bail Organa told him, "Hey, come save her," because
Again, which made no sense considering how important she is. But
Right. He was. I mean, he's living in denial his whole time, and then I don't know. You need to knock some sense into him for him to realize he had 2 children. You got to do what you got to do for both children. So the beginning scene, I was like, it kind of just reemphasized that they did not know what to do with the side characters. And Leia too. Leia did nothing this episode
You didn't like that?
That's
she
not
fixed
true.
the wires in the last
Yeah.
episode.
And she gave him the
this
robot.
Found
episode.
but she did enough last week. She found the red wire.
She did nothing this week.
But she gave him the robot, the mini robot, which
What did the
served
robot do?
It served no purpose.
And she got the holster. The holster.
Yes.
The holster she
Shoot
wears
someone,
in,
little
in
girl.
the classics.
Not
Aren't you
come on.
happy?
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the
And
same.
inspire her to wear it in the classic. Doesn't matter. You
guess.
should have been hyped. You should have cried at that scene if you're an OG Star Wars fan.
No, those scenes were not moving for me. Maybe
That's the origin story.
Maybe when we get to the end, talking about the ending bits with the both Skywalker children, but I don't know. I just this beginning kind of just re-emphasized, like I said, that they didn't know what they were doing with these side characters. But let's get into now. Let's just get into the creme de la creme, Vader,
fight.
he's like, let's go get him. That's Obi-Wan on that ship. And the Grand Inquisitor,
But
another
Master,
waste of a character.
we must get the rebels.
We cannot. We cannot prioritize the life of a single Jedi over the Alliance.
He's
It's
like,
not any
prepare my
Jedi.
ship.
Actually, better question. Why the hell did Darth Vader just follow him on his ship while the Star Destroyer went after the rebels?
No,
Because his ship is not made for big travel, I guess.
But is Obi-Wan's ship made for big travel? What kind of clownery
Obi-Wan
is
was
this?
like on a singular, the small ships, the small
Yes.
ships.
I guess you can travel in those smaller ships. It's probably not the safest, but also I don't know. Vader wants to point all guns at Obi-Wan.
But the ship just parked outside. The ship didn't do anything. And I was gonna bring it up. After Vader got his ass whooped, Obi-Wan was just allowed to walk out of there.
We're
Wait,
bumping
wait,
ahead. We're
wait.
bumping ahead. Let's,
Yeah, don't
let's-
get-
You're not yet. You're not. Yep.
Look,
Let's just
we're here though.
We're here. We're
despite
here.
despite the Grand Inquisitor's logical, suggestion, they follow him, and we're given the final confrontation.
Yes.
I enjoyed this confrontation. I was actually drawing big comparisons of kind of the setting and just overall how it played out, similar to the Avatar: The Last Airbender finale.
Like in a rocky area.
Yeah, with the tall rocks.
Well,
Yeah.
you see,
And-
with Avatar, I could see what was happening.
Yes.
In this fight, it was all dark.
I could see.
So maybe it's the saturation on my TV. It was
It
dark
is.
as hell. Thank
I need
God
to get a better
in the
TV.
dark.
the lightsabers illuminated the best parts of the scene.
You need a better TV. I mean,
You might
that's
need
on
a better team. I saw everything. I really liked the callbacks in this fight as well. He's like, I'll do what I must, and does the two fingers,
Oh yeah, the
Ooh.
pause, like the fighting stance.
Yes, he does his stance, and it works for me. It was nice to see that they're not both kendo experts anymore. Obi-Wan's trying to do the kendo thing, but Vader is again kind of doing the one hand chop, stopping his blade with the force. It was a very emotional fight. If anything took me out, it's Vader's force palm to the ground that causes the earthquake to trap Obi-Wan.
That took
I don't
you
know.
out?
I don't know if
Really?
I buy into that necessarily.
Like,
You bought
they-
into
like-
the-
You're not into like the power that.
the move itself. When have we ever seen a Jedi do that? Anybody?
But we
do
saw
that?
Obi-Wan's like really do the same thing as Thanos, have a bunch of rocks behind
I
him.
don't
and
know if
fire
I
at a
like that one
person.
either.
Actually,
I don't
wait,
know.
no, that one's more weird. That one's more
You see?
weird. I didn't like that because that seemed more like. I
I'm a
know
master.
He was an earthbender. It was an
It
earthbender.
felt like earthbending. It felt
No,
like
it was better than earthbending. It
to-
was
to-
Aang lifting all the rocks
Yes.
right.
simultaneously.
It's one of those things where like I know technically like the whole thing with the force is some level of telepathy because you're lifting an object up, you're throwing it, stuff like that. This
Yeah.
though felt like I'm a god.
Yes,
like
very godlike.
and it's just we haven't seen you see, okay, the earthquake thing, I can still buy into that because it has some believability in that Vader got the force and did it into the ground and it collapsed the surrounding area, causing Obi-Wan to fall down. What Obi-Wan did with the rocks flying behind him, I don't know, that to me was weird because there's no motion behind it where he's throwing them at
yes. It was just flying, boom, 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 and Vader was just taking every hit. And this is my issue with Star Wars: the power scaling makes no sense. One episode, he's struggling to lift up one kid that's falling. The next episode, he's throwing a goddamn mountain at the other guy, and Vader is just taking every hit.
Well, this is not power scaling. This is powers in general.
Yeah, but when I say power scaling, I mean, like, I assume depending on how trained you are with a Jedi, you can do more things. Like, obviously, if you're a Padawan, you can barely twirl your lightsaber and catch it. But if you're a Sith, you can fry people with the lightning bolt that you have.
Well, only Palpatine knows that.
Only Palpatine.
No,
yeah.
Dooku knew how to do lightning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
See,
it's just something for some reason Vader doesn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but like,
I've never learned, I guess.
Yeah.
Clownery again. But again, this is my issue. Power just seems to be convenient only when they want to use the power. Vader, I was not surprised when he did the earthquake because Vader is naturally strong. We saw what he did to Reva last episode. He made her a clown. He made her seem like she was a kid fighting a grown man. That seemed believable. Obi-Wan had no training for the last 10 years. He struggled the entire season. And the last episode, he became a god again.
Well, you need to think, was I call it the rubble vision, where he's hearing Anakin and Darth Vader's voice going back and forth in his head, but then he starts thinking about Leia and Luke. Is that enough to awaken, Obi-Wan and his connection to the Force? Did you buy into that?
No.
I don't, because then I don't want to talk about this movie, but then it kind of goes back into The Last Jedi. Where that whole scene that was the one where Leia gets ejected into space.
Oh, and she becomes a god by reviving herself.
And I would have to buy into that as well if I say the rubble vision is what's giving Obi-Wan, like, oh my god, I'm just getting so angry. And
something to fight for.
I need to fight for something greater than myself. I will now do something in the series that I've never done before because I'm more stronger with the Force. I don't know, man. Not to say we haven't seen crazy things happen. Okay, like for example, in the sequel trilogy, I don't like talking about it, but in the sequel trilogy, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Kylo Ren, maybe it was Rey, but someone caught a blaster shot.
Oh, it was Kylo Ren. It was in the first episode.
It was Kylo Ren.
Yeah, first one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That we've never seen before, but still within the realm of believability for someone like Kylo Ren, someone that's been training in the Force, training to do whatever.
That's not believable that was the first time we ever met him.
But we don't know what kind of training he went through.
Yeah, we just have to assume that he was really badass.
Our assumption was this guy has to have been training for God knows how long, and whatever practices in the Force that he's learned, he's done this before. With Obi-Wan, we've never seen Obi-Wan pull a feat where he's levitating like rocks behind him and becoming like basically an earthbender from Avatar. And for that to be logical after a 10-year gap of no training whatsoever, he's detached from the Force. Did you forget how Vader destroyed this man in episode 3?
He had him on the ground.
So you're saying the Skywalker children were not enough for Obi-Wan?
No.
So are you saying the journey of this whole series was not enough motivation for Obi-Wan to get?
It sounds like friendship is magic. It was
it sounds like fairy tale.
So basically, if you don't believe in the Rebel vision and him being able to
wait, I just want to clarify. What do you mean by Rebel vision?
He starts thinking about Leia and Luke.
But
when he's under the rubble.
The rubble. Oh, you mean Oh, you
because he had those
mean
flashbacks. He
under
had the
rubble.
flashback. Yeah.
Yes,
I
under
thought you
the
were talking
rubble.
about the Vision being.
No, the
Bubble.
flashback that he
No,
had when he
under
saw
the
all
rubble.
them. Yeah.
Okay.
So
But-
basically, what I'm basically saying is, I agree. I don't think he should have been able to live.
I
up
don't
all
mind
those.
him getting out of the situation he was in by thinking about Leia and the rest of them. That I didn't have a problem with. He's like, oh, I gotta fight for something.
So that means you buy into their relationship too. Then
I do buy into the relationship. What I don't buy is him unlocking a new ability
Out of
that
nowhere.
he's never
all right, me too.
Actually,
did it before.
No, what about this? We didn't talk about this. How the hell did Vader not know that he was not dead? This is somebody that touched down on one of the moon
he knew.
planet destroyer thing, and Vader initially knew, but this time the man is alive, levitating rocks, and he just walks away.
No, he knew he was alive. He left them buried, just like because again, then that's why I say there's a lot of symbolism or like just emotions in this fight.
Okay.
Just how Obi-Wan left Vader to just kind of.
But Vader was smart because Vader practically cut off half of this guy's limbs. I mean, not Vader. Obi-Wan cut off half of his limbs, so he was like, "My man, you're not gonna be able to run away."
Obi-Wan cut that off because he's like, "I have the high ground. If you do this."
But Vader had the
done
high
for.
ground this time. He didn't do anything. All he did was throw
buried
some.
him. He buried
The guy has
him.
the Force. He literally saw what happened. The Force pushed it
And-
away, and then
and
I'm
see,
fine.
and this is where there's good writing in this series. That was
Ooh.
the whole flashback, thinking Anakin, you think you've won, or
Because
you're
you have the high ground. Because
Gra-
I did the earthquake thing.
not saying he has the high ground, but he's like the whole thing about you're blinded due to your want to prove yourself to everybody. Vader walked away, thought he won, and he didn't. And that is literally what happened in the flashback too. And also that happened in Mustafar. Yes, there's parallels here. There are parallels here.
I see your point. I don't like it.
You know what I would have liked in this, because I like the choreography. It was fine. I still like the Reva versus Vader fight just a little bit more, just in terms of
No, this one tops that. Minus the
I-
Force bit.
The emotional bit in this fight easily beats the Reva versus Vader fight. I just mean in the sense of, I don't know, I just like the way the Reva fight happened just because we saw a combat scenario that we usually don't see. Here's a man who is not even pulling out his lightsaber, and he's using the Force to evade and block Reva's attacks.
Extremely
you don't see
badass.
that a lot. That's pretty cool. So going into this, even though this one had the emotional aspect, there wasn't too much that happened in the fight that made it stick out outside of the absurd bits like I am now an earthbender, or I will now bury you with the
Sand
rubble.
coffin.
Sand tsunami. Well,
Oh
okay,
my God.
you know what? No, since we mentioned it, I want to make a parallel because I feel this would have made this fight even more impactful. Last week, we got a flashback sequence with Obi-Wan versus Anakin, right?
Yeah.
And it was nice to see them in their Clone Wars attire, nostalgia, all that bit. But like we said last week, it played it safe. What they should have done, and this is why people on the writing staff have to watch more anime, because this would have been nice.
Oh, flashing back
In between strikes from when they're fighting as Obi-Wan and Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan and Anakin as Master and Padawan. Similar to, we just made the comparison to Naruto for our anime viewers.
Sasuke and
I wasn't even referring to Sasuke, and well, I guess that's applicable. I'm talking about
Obito and
Yes.
Kakashi. Yes,
Yes.
that's a good one.
That one, they two characters as adults have to fight each other because one's trying to stop the other, and it's flashing back in between scenes of them as children having a friendly sparring match to them as adults trying to basically kill the other one. I think that flashback scene we got last week should have been in this episode, intertwined in the middle of the fight. I think
agree.
it would have
It would have been better.
more.
I'm gonna get back to this point that you're making later on when we talk about another character, because what they were going back and forth between did not suffice at all. You know, this was not a continuous fight. They flashed back to another scene. I guess y'all don't remember, but we'll get there. That's okay. With that said, oh my gosh, where was I gonna take this next? I thought, you know, it's not the best choreographed Star Wars fight. The emotions do resonate. I think they did get very creative with doing the dark setting and kind of let the lightsabers kind of, you know, be the only light available during this fight. And the rocky terrain where the lightsabers were hitting the rocks, it was different. It was cool. However, the big part of this fight, really, and we talked about it last week, we didn't get a whole sit-down conversation between the two, but the conversation at the end of this fight was the most we're gonna get, and I thought it was pretty good. What we were given, and very creative how they did it too. Toasty, you're 100% right. That is what happened in the Ahsoka fight. I think it was the other side though during the Ahsoka fight, but
possibly
the other side.
It might be, but either way, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Right. Same concept. The helmet gets slashed. You can see the eyes.
Right.
Anakin.
Oh no.
What I did like though about this a lot was when Obi-Wan. He's talking. Vader is talking, and you hear Anakin and James Earl Jones.
The voice.
Yeah, doing the voice mashup.
I like that. It kind of like crossed between each other, right?
Yes.
As he was talking.
Okay, yeah, that was an interesting scene. I actually like that. I agree.
I think
by the way, it was the other side. It was the other side.
It was the other side
of the mask. Yeah, for Ahsoka.
Interesting. Maybe they did that thematically speaking. How his two most trusted people outside of Padme, had to come to blows like that as Vader.
And they each got one side of his mask.
Right.
Oh my God. I feel
like it was an accident.
I mean,
it was an accident. They probably forgot.
They said Deborah Chow was a big Star Wars fan, so maybe she made that call.
No, they forgot.
I don't want to give her that much credit though.
I don't either. But go on. What were you saying?
How do you feel? Because I feel what happens in this final bit with them, it really just sets up. It was done great here, but it only sets up episode 4 dialogue. What do you thematically speaking when he says, I am not your greatest failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. What do you feel when that dialogue is giving? Because I have my thoughts on what that means. Did that elicit any kind of response from you?
I liked what was said by Anakin. Well, I guess Darth Vader. I liked what he said because it's something in the series that they've always said, where even though people like Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, they want to think that Anakin is still in there, they tend to them and even fans themselves, they forget that Vader and Anakin are two different characters. They're two separate entities, right? So I like how Vader, and he's kind of said this before, maybe not exactly the way he said it in this episode, but I like that he just basically reiterated it again, basically saying Anakin, the character Anakin, the one little Annie, that he's dead. He is dead. He is gone. I am what replaces him. We are two separate people. And that's why when we won dialogue scenes, we know Darth Vader is not just gonna be like, Obi-Wan, you're right. I'm just terrible. Come into my arms. I'm sorry. We know that's not gonna happen because that's not Anakin. Anakin might do that, but that's not Anakin anymore. That's someone else. So I did like him saying that, because even in episode 4, when Ben is talking to Luke,
exactly.
Luke is asking about his father, And Ben says Vader is the one that killed your father. So and your father was a Jedi. So it's one of those things where Lucas did not know about Vader and Anakin being the same person in episode. Don't you dare give him that much
argument.
Episode 4, first movie.
I know. You can make the argument, but it's fine. I won't make it here.
But I just like how they tie that. They make that line have a little bit more sense.
Yes,
I like that.
Oh, the hella sense.
A lot of sense. And that's part of. I mean, Obi-Wan's looking into this man's eyes, and even though he knows Anakin's not in there, he sees what transpired after Mustafar, after he left him cooking near a pit of lava.
Obi-Wan's facial response to looking at was he's damn near in tears.
Yes. I saw the water in his eyes. It was there.
Should have finished him off.
Well, this is where I got pulled out.
The clownery.
Obi-Wan leaves Darth Vader in shambles. Just, you have Darth Vader saying, "Everyone!" as he's walking away. And the defense to this, and it's a weak one, the defense to this is, one of them, because there's a lot. One of them is, Obi-Wan can't kill Vader. He's alive in the rest of the movies. You wanted Obi-Wan to kill Vader now?
I didn't think about that one, but yes.
Oh my God.
People are going to be saying it. They're going to say it's plot armor. And I'm like, but is it my job as a viewer to fill in the gaps like that for someone that's writing the series to make a scene like that be more believable? Obi-Wan knows the tyrannical rule that Vader is imposing as a leading figure in the Empire. He's had 10 plus years to do whatever he's done. Probably torture, more genocide outside of the Jedi, killing more of the Jedi for whoever he would find.
Yeah. And
Obi-Wan decides to be the bigger man, I guess, and walk away.
My dude, Jedis were always clown. That's why we had the leader of the Sith sitting next to them throughout the entire movies.
Okay.
And they didn't know about it. For God's sake. Jedis are clowns. That's the only thing I realized in this entire series. All of the Jedis are borderline idiots, dude. Honestly, I don't know how they get past basic training. Because these boys don't deserve it. Like, really speaking, you're looking at the most dangerous man in the universe. You should have killed him. Because by that logic, you could argue, why kill Count Dooku? Why kill Palpatine? Why kill Grievous? You shouldn't kill any of these guys. All of them should be left alive. And again, all of them should be left alive. Again, we already know it. The only reason why Vader was left alive is because he has plot armor. They could have done it in a better way where maybe Vader fell off a hole again.
And this is what I was expecting. Something like at the end of the fight, something interrupts them and they get separated. So they're forced to retreat. That is the job of the writers to make something believable because both of these characters went to this fight with the intent of killing the other person.
100%.
Knowing what the other one can do. From Vader's perspective, he knows how powerful Obi-Wan was and how powerful he can be if he's still let loose. So Vader's perspective, he's coming into this fight saying, I need to kill this guy. Grand Inquisitor was saying, let's chase the rebels. But I know Obi-Wan's potential. It needs to end here. I'm not afraid of any other Jedi. I'm kind of afraid of this guy. I won't admit it, but I'm kind of afraid of him. Just a little bit. From Obi-Wan's perspective, this man is a leading figure in the damn Empire. In him leaving Vader alive, do you know what that results in? The destruction of Leia's home planet in episode 4. Oh, but I'm gonna let you live because I can't bring myself to end you, Anakin. I still see. I don't know, Grandmaster. You've been silent a little bit.
I was letting
he's stunned by the. He's stunned.
I understand.
I'm not stunned.
I understand what I want because I have a feeling you have a reason for this scene. or maybe you agree with us, disagree. I just want to hear your take.
Y'all's logic is there. It's definitely there, especially when you say they both had the intent to kill one another. I mean, Darth Vader clearly had the intent to kill Obi-Wan for sure. But what it just harkens back to, it's dumb of Obi-Wan to leave him there, but I get why Obi-Wan leaves him there, because he does the same thing that he did before, you know. And now, with that said, he, in both situations, when I'm talking about the Mustafar situation, you know, Obi-Wan is not in a mental state to kill. It'd be one thing if that slash that he did to do that to Vader's face killed him in the process, but then he stopped because he's Obi-Wan feels a lot of guilt. Thematically speaking, the reason why he didn't want to confront Vader before was because, you know, he was guilty he thought Anakin became this because of his actions, because of his poor teaching. This was the result. But Obi-Wan has been guilt-ridden this whole time. I'm just talking thematically. I know the logic is not there. I agree. But if you look at it from just what might be going on in Obi-Wan's head, in his heart, the moment he sees Vader's face, his onslaught stops, because he's reminded of what he did to Anakin 10 years prior. And he's looking at this, this man who was his brother, his friend, and he just sees this tortured individual now. And I imagine in his head, his breathing apparatus is slashed. Maybe he's die.
Wheezing.
Yeah, he's wheezing. Maybe he's just gonna die out right there. But at the same time, too, he's like, this man is probably he's dead inside already, and he's living this terrible life, living like this, and that is why he can't bring himself to do it. However, the thing that he really understands at this point is that it's not his fault. Darth Vader killed Anakin, and Darth Vader will probably be his own downfall as well. And that is and I get it, and I really like how that resonates. And I don't think the writers were looking for a logical reason to make things work for episode 4, because if you do that, it doesn't work on the emotional standpoint. They were just trying to elicit emotion the whole time, and you got it. Obi-Wan walks away. Vader is screaming in agony. You got the emotions. You feel Vader's frustration, and you still understand that Obi-Wan still feels so remorseful for Anakin's situation. And that works for me. I don't need the logical bit. I don't need it, because we know they have to both be alive. So we don't need some convoluted interruption.
It doesn't need to be convoluted.
And I think they understood it too, is that any reason that is not just these two having a character moment is not going to resonate as much. And I will take the emotional character moment over some plot device to make it stop.
Honestly,
that's what I got.
What would have been better though is if they were separated by some kind of physical feature on the planet.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
But you see, no, that's what you're saying. But I'm saying that would have been way better. And you see, you don't need that. But my issue is the first time he left Anakin behind, he assumed Anakin died, or he assumed he was gonna die. The man was right next to a lake of lava. He was cooking. You have to assume the man is dead.
Right.
To be fair, that was it was kind of a dumb move. He didn't finish him off. And low-key, it was kind of evil to let the man cook alive. But this time, he has no reason not to kill him. He knows what Vader has done. He went into the basement of the Inquisitor Towers and saw little kids. He saw old Jedis suspended in amber after they were killed. So it's not like he has any hope that maybe Vader was different. He knows this man is straight up evil, yet he decides to run away from his responsibility. He created a disaster, and he still chose to run away at the end. In my opinion, Obi-Wan did not grow. Obi-Wan is as weak as he was at the beginning of the show. He always run away from his problem, and because of that, he creates more of a mess. Yes, it's a nice scene. Oh my God, like he couldn't bring himself. No, my man, if you guys made a point of saying it, him walking away from Vader caused the deaths of at least 1 million people on the planet where Alderaan.
I mean,
evaporated. People
you can make that
evaporated.
argument, but you can take it all the way back to Qui-Gon Jinn, really trying to get this boy to be a Jedi. He should have never been a Jedi.
Well, okay. I think one thing you can do to satisfy, both parties that want the emotional part and the logical one, you could still have the scene where Obi-Wan cuts Vader's face. He sees his eyes and he pauses, right? And he refuses to continue the fight, which then leads to something on the planet, something, whatever, it doesn't matter. Something stopping the fight from continuing. So you have the emotional part where Obi-Wan literally freezes. He's like, I don't think I can do this. And it's that split second decision that still, I feel like it was still deliver on the emotional part, because Obi-Wan was going in on Vader. Like what you were saying earlier. He was cutting up his apparatus on his chest. He was like, screwing up his saber. Like I think he pinned it against like
he got him on the back too. He got a good hit on the back.
Yeah, he was going in on him. But then once he cut the face off, that's when he paused. You can keep that. I don't mind the pause and even the reflection of like Obi-Wan almost tearing up and saying, I'm sorry. Keep all of that. But then have the logic of just having something interrupt that like physically separating them. So even if Obi-Wan still gathered the sense where he's like, even though I realized I did this to Anakin in a way,
I still need to kill him.
I still need to kill him. But you have the interruption. Too late. It can't continue. And again, that's assuming the writers would have wanted Obi-Wan to recollect himself and realize he has to finish Vader off. They don't have to do that. They don't have to do it, or they can. But the point is, interrupt that fight to forcefully separate them from making that decision to continue it. So then you're left wondering, wow, so if, Obi-Wan paused, but if the fight was not interrupted,
would he have killed him?
Would he have killed him? Would he have maybe collected his thoughts and realized, even though I feel terrible about this, I still need to finish this guy off? Or maybe he would not have let Vader, he would not have finished off Vader. Maybe he would have been so guilt-ridden and let Vader finish him off. Because he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did Anakin. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Cut my head off. I'm sorry. But instead, we're left with a scene that it has the emotional impact, but the logic is not there, where Obi-Wan is choosing to leave. Again, his friend, and it's someone that he feels a lot of compassion for still knowing that that's Darth Vader, mind you, because Obi-Wan realizes at the end, okay, you just confirmed that Anakin is gone. I will refer to you as Darth now. Okay, kill him. He's not Anakin anymore. Finish him off. But he still doesn't do that. He walks away.
I will say this: if you get a season 2, because
I don't want one.
I mean,
they can't meet again.
Listen, that's fine.
But if, go ahead.
I'm just saying, there's still quite a gap between now and episode 4. You can have another confrontation where you might get that again, because there's no point in bringing back both these characters if they're not going to confront each other once again.
But the issue is, no matter how,
once again after this,
I'm just of course.
But at this point, like, how many times are they gonna fight? We know there's no point to this fight. None of them can die.
I'm just saying,
there's no enjoyment in seeing it. Yeah, like, I don't know.
I'm just saying that, like, there's no sense in bringing both these characters back to not have them interact with one another.
For this season, right? For this series.
Well, they're talking about, we want to come back. Well, don't come back together then, because do your own separate series. Because yes, it will be the same result every time. that
they're
they're
gonna
have to
die.
live. They can't die. Right.
And yeah, I feel like regardless of what the actors want, I think they should be done with this. That's
The
not
actors
to say
just want a bigger paycheck.
they.
I think they just like they like the characters.
They like the
enjoy.
characters. They like them. They like playing them. And you can tell, Ewan McGregor, he loves this. He loves doing this.
Yes.
Same with Hayden Christensen.
Hayden never thought he'd be back.
He never thought he'd be back. He was practically bullied off of Star Wars in a way.
God, man. They gonna get bullied.
But anyways, these are not the only central figures in this episode.
Before Obi-Wan just leaves the planet, no Star Destroyer. They just leave Vader behind. So where was the Star Destroyer at the end? How did they let Obi-Wan leave?
If they see Obi-Wan's ship going off,
actually, do they know that that's Obi-Wan's ship compared?
Well, they know which one's Vader's ship.
Yes.
They know which one. So
and if how do they know that specific ship that's coming out is Obi-Wan's? Or rather, how do you know?
It looked different.
I don't know.
They would have tried.
I'm saying because it is the planet that they went to fight on. Is that like inhabited by anyone?
Oh
no, but they were off in space. The Star Destroyer was off
brought
in
the
space.
Scenario. I didn't.
No.
I'm just.
No. The Star Destroyer was off in space. After they got to the planet, Vader went down on the planet with his own ship. The Star Destroyer stayed behind. The issue is Obi-Wan left the planet for no reason. The Star Destroyer at any point tried to say, "Hey, who's this person leaving right now?"
Could have left place. It could have left somewhere else. There, done.
They know their place. They cannot touch Obi-Wan. That is Darth.
Oh my God! Vader destroys everyone in that ship.
I don't accept Grandmaster's scenario. Respect. I will accept Obi-Wan just left off of a different, exit point off the planet.
My man, it's a Star Destroyer floating in space. They must have the technology to realize.
There's no finale if they capture Obi-Wan.
Oh, plot armor, perfect.
Plot armor.
That's
why.
Like,
so what's wrong? Everyone that was in the room where they controlled the ship, they all went on their lunch break. That's what happened. They left the intern behind. Or did they put the same soldier that they realized when the girl was talking on the radio? Those same people were probably walking around having a joke.
It does not work if the Star Destroyer.
Vader is not here. Let's party. All rules are off.
Maybe. I think they alluded to that in Robot Chicken. But look, let's now work about the lesson.
You know what? Let's move to the best part.
I'm sure you'll have plenty to say about our girl Reva, and that's probably the last big talking point. I'm just gonna open with this. Where we left Reva in episode 5, as far as her trying to go after Vader, very we said it makes sense as far as we enjoyed the aspect of her trying to get close to Vader, trying to assassinate him, but then we were like, what is she gonna do with that Luke info? And they lost me. I have no idea what she's doing on Tatooine.
What was her plan? What was
she wants to kill him?
What for what? For what? What was that going to do?
I don't know.
He's related to Vader. He's related to
She doesn't know that.
Obi-Wan.
She doesn't know that.
He's related to Obi-Wan. She's related to Obi-Wan.
She knows Obi-Wan's trying to protect him, and she puts it together that he's a Force-sensitive child.
So
what sense is there in killing him?
Wait, Grandmaster, by that logic, don't you like instead the emotional aspect of her realizing that she was just acting? What do you mean? Why do you need Vader. The logic?
No, because again, there's logic for why Vader and Obi-Wan confront each other. There's no logic to why she goes after Luke.
What you said earlier, where you said, I don't need the logic as to how Obi-Wan left Vader alive, but you appreciated the emotional part that was delivered.
Because the logic of their confrontation was there, and it led to the emotional response.
But the logic of their exit is not there.
Listen, don't try to flip this on me. There is no logic. Listen, no. Obi-Wan and Vader's confrontation is logic. I never disputed that. And they did it to elicit the emotional response. There was no logic for Reva to go after Luke to kill him. And although she had an emotional response, because there's no logic prior, it doesn't work. Why is she going after this boy?
I think you're choosing.
No. You're trying.
Yeah, you're choosing to ignore it.
No. I'm
I
not.
will apply logic to scenario
No.
But that's scenario B. No.
You're trying to flip it. I don't know why you're not just focused on what we're talking about right now.
Let's focus on Reva. The
logic is always there. There is no logic
with
for
Reva.
No, there is none. I'm asking, do you see it? Because
I
really don't.
I don't see it. Okay. With Reva's plan.
I'm gonna say right now, they wanted to create a character, and these clowns didn't know what to do with her. As simple as that. Her backstory was kind of dumb. Her fight was amazing, but that is it. And even her intention was stupid.
She
went on Tatooine.
Her losing a fight was amazing.
Yeah,
that's
her losing.
To point out too.
Her losing the fight was amazing.
Think her backstory is dumb. Her backstory works.
She got stabbed in the stomach by Anakin with a lightsaber. She somehow was able to crawl under the body of her fellow classmate, hide, somehow get out of this place. Go off.
We don't know if she was actually stabbed by Vader.
We don't know. We really don't know anything.
What did Anakin do?
That scene, because she could have just played dead. She could have been like, let me just flop to the ground and hide amongst the bodies. That scene that you're talking about where Anakin walks up to her and stabs him, we talked about it last week where you could spin it two different ways.
I don't like it.
She was stabbed by Anakin as a kid, somehow survived, don't know how. Or B, she's just reminded of how much of a child she is in the presence of Vader. She did not grow as a person.
Let's agree to disagree with that wrongful interpretation of the story. Either way. Yes, obviously.
I mean, I don't think the backstory though of her being a survivor of Order 66 is dumb. What I think happened here is the writers got lost her in the sauce.
No, but that's the issue. They didn't know where her story was supposed to be. They literally just bunched up. It felt like it was 3 different people writing the story for this girl. Somebody wrote the backstory, somebody wrote the current story, and somebody wrote the ending. None of it fit. There's no line.
She got stabbed in the chest again.
She got stabbed in the chest. She somehow was able to crawl away. She got off the planet on a ship, got to Tatooine way before everybody else. Went into Tatooine and said, I'm just looking for a man named Owen. I'm sorry. It's not a goddamn plan. Who the hell is Owen, my boy? Imagine walking into a public space and saying, I'm looking for somebody named Bob.
Actually, yeah.
Well,
she
already
how the
hell
are you going to Tatooine? Where does she even know Owen might even be?
Thank you.
She already met Owen. What are you talking about?
She's gonna remember every person that she meets?
No. Are you kidding? She literally confronted Owen and named him. He told her the name. That's going to resonate.
So there you go. You have the logic.
No. I said the logic of her going after Luke. Where is their logic? Of course she knows where to find Owen. She met Owen in that town in Tatooine. She put 2 and 2 together, but I do not understand why she's trying to kill Luke.
But why did she assume that was the Owen she was looking for?
Because this is Star Wars. Nobody has the same name.
God damn it, this story, man. Like, there's no logic to this.
Toasty is not a Star Wars fan.
Dude,
this is well
it makes no sense. Imagine walking into a public space and saying the name of a person, saying, I am looking for this person. You're not going to find this goddamn person. Not only that, she's on the entire goddamn planet. She had no reason to find him that quickly, especially when she was that injured.
The last Owen I encountered, by Grandmaster's logic, the last Owen I encountered was in this very specific spot on Tatooine. I'm going to go to Tatooine somehow. Don't know how.
It must be that Owen.
It must be that Owen. And I'm going to ask around for Owen.
Why is that? Why are you so hung up on? Y'all get hung up on you.
Why is she? Wait, hold on. Why is she in line? What is that line for? Where she even thinks someone's gonna give her information on where Owen is?
What do you mean? She's probably asking around the whole town.
Aren't there easier places to go instead of waiting in a goddamn line? She's probably in pain from getting stabbed.
Is it not believable that this is not the first place she went?
Oh my god!
Can you show? Or am I supposed to assume? Oh,
that's headcanon. That's headcanon.
Y'all get hung up on. I understand you're looking for the logic, but the main thing here is her motivation to be there. It doesn't make sense. How do you try to kill Vader, the man who killed your family, and then you say, I want to kill this little boy now?
Actually, what even happened to her at the end? She cried and she ran away?
She brought him back.
Yeah, I know.
He fell, right? He fell.
Yeah, he passed out
because it was something they needed, and I'm glad they did this. He needed to pass out because she started using. She first off, she brought out a lightsaber, about to kill him. If he had seen that, that would have immediately been a problem in episode 4. So it's good that he was on.
I mean, he saw it.
No, he did not. He did not see her unsheath the lightsaber.
Because it would not make sense in episode 4 because he didn't know what a lightsaber was. He didn't know.
He pointed it like a gun in his eye.
He knows what a lightsaber is. A Jedi's weapon is a lightsaber. I'm pretty sure he saw it.
He did not see it. She was I promise you, when Reva was catching up with him, she did not unsheath her lightsaber yet. She did that thing with the rocks, and one of the rocks hit him, whatever, fell unconscious. After he's unconscious, where he's laying on the ground, that's when she unsheathes the lightsaber.
This is terrible.
Yeah, homeboy was gone. Because again, it would have broken the story in previous movies.
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal that he sees a lightsaber. The bigger deal is that this person with a lightsaber is chasing him. And because he has no idea why.
And again, she just disappears. We don't know where she goes now.
Well, they definitely left it open for her to come back in some.
She should not.
I'm okay with her. I don't like the little pep talk Obi-Wan gave her.
Oh no, that was
terrible because she's trying to not justify. She's trying to like gain sympathy for. Well, at least I'm not him, right? And Obi-Wan's like, no, sweetie, you're not.
He doesn't know that. She probably killed as many kids as Anakin.
She might have. She 100% did. She 100% did. She even said in the what was it, last episode or the episode before? You don't know what I've done.
Yeah, she slaughtered a couple towns.
Killed, likely tortured.
Imagine
she's part of the Inquisition, man. You can't just like BS your way through the Inquisition and like kind of just like, oh, I let this Jedi I was chasing, he ran away. I couldn't keep up with him. She easily did terrible things, and Obi-Wan is there saying, but you're not as bad as Darth Vader, so you're okay.
Imagine if you were a kid whose parents were slaughtered by this lady and you joined the path, and guess who joins the path and is buddy with you now? Yeah, okay. That's what's gonna happen. Like
it's literally the same logic. And again, these were part of the classic series, so they could be silly in their own right, but it's the same thing where Darth Vader redeems himself in the end when he saves Luke, and he's granted the ability
to astral form
to become a Force ghost.
Okay, so there's, speaking of the Force as a whole, we look at that scene and say, oh, he's allowed to be a Force ghost. That is not the case. I think anybody can become a Force ghost. You just have to be one with the Force. The BS that people call out is that he took the form of Anakin Skywalker,
and not Darth Vader.
Well, not the burnt to a crisp version,
My man, if you could be a ghost, you want to look your worst? No, I wouldn't look my best as a ghost.
I don't think you should have a choice. You just get to be a ghost. You don't get to go in the closet.
Why is oh wait, does Yoda become a ghost? No, he doesn't.
Yes, Yoda becomes a ghost.
He does become a ghost?
Yes,
why is he in his brittle form? Why is he in his 800-year-old
because
form?
I mean the same
maybe
thing
he liked that form. Maybe he likes it.
Maybe I like walking around slowly.
Obi-Wan is his old man. Obi-Wan is a Force ghost. But I don't think and that's the thing with the Force. The Force does not choose sides. There are just sides of the Force. If you become one with the Force, You just become one.
It could be they turn into a ghost at the moment of their life where they were the strongest.
Possibly. Very
That's
possible.
one.
Actually,
That would explain. That would explain why Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan are old, and would explain why Anakin is young. Because Anakin, you could argue, like in my background, that was the strongest point.
Well, I will say this: Anakin was. I think what it deals with is balance. He is not balanced as Vader. You know.
Yeah.
So.
And he's not strong enough. Like he's not as strong as OG Anakin, movie Anakin. Like so, again, it makes sense because based on what we've seen on the Clone Wars,
he is stronger than OG Anakin. He is stronger than Anakin. Darth Vader as two separate entities because it makes sense.
Darth Vader will be stronger than
Darth
Anakin.
Vader would be stronger than Anakin, but since they are two different characters, Anakin in your background, that would be his strongest.
Well, also Anakin is the one that became one with the Force because he was no longer Darth Vader when he's like, Luke, remove my helmet. I want to see my son's face. But speaking of ghosts, we could kind of wrap this up here, or start wrapping it up. But we're giving some cameos. Well, they put a nice bow. He's got the confrontation, his little thing with Leia, and he's like, oh, you're both your parents. I knew them. You're the good parts of your parents. Let's hug it out and let's never talk again so people don't know our connection.
Will I ever see you again? 10 years, give or take. Yeah.
If you ever need help from an old man. Is that okay with y'all? You good with that little bow?
It was all right. I didn't care, man.
I kind of just tuned out by then. Because the parts that I wanted to see, which was Obi-Wan, Vader, already happened. So at this point, I'm just waiting. I was waiting to see, okay, how are they gonna tie everything up? I mean, it was fine. It wasn't. I did not have the same emotional impact like from your background when Obi-Wan saw Vader. To me, that hit more. But I mean, it was fine. Him saying goodbye to Leia, and leaving her there on Alderaan.
Funny enough, I think the Luke one works better. Given
I think I like the Luke one a little bit better.
Well, yes. Well, they have a relationship in the next part of the series,
Right. Ben is established as the uncle now that drops in every so often. And that's nice. This gets brownie points. He walks up to Luke and he's like, "Hello there."
Terrible. Oh my gosh.
I love
That's
it.
so bad.
I loved it.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh my god.
You know that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio where he's like, "Ooh," when he's pointing? That was me.
So bad.
Easily 10 out of 10.
Bad.
Don't you dare.
Oh my god.
Oh
Terrible.
man, beautiful.
I mean, it was nice. It was there.
I liked it.
He did a couple. He did. I'll do what I must against Anakin. He said hello there, here. And I think that was about it as far as his lines go.
Oh, they could have done something with sand. Because they were kind of
that's Anakin.
Area.
That's Anakin.
I know it's Anakin, but since Darth Vader's a different person, he could have been something like, "I love sand, Obi-Wan." And he just sand tsunami. He did like sand because he did the earthquake. Oh, I see what they did.
You're stretching.
He did the burial. He did the sand burial.
Stretching.
Sand burial.
Yes.
You're
Darth
stretching.
Vader likes sand. Anakin does not.
You're stretching.
Done.
They aren't gonna do something like that. We get a Palpatine scene. Cool to see.
Was that
him.
actually
That's him. That's Ian McDiarmid.
That's nice.
Oh, so okay.
I know he loves. I think out of everyone, he loves playing that. Like his role in Star Wars the most.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited
power.
Honestly, yeah.
Darth Vader, rise.
And he's he does pose a good question. He questions, do you still have feelings for your old master?
He does, yeah.
And I think there's some logic to that question. He's like, did you let him, basically, like, you should have, as we were saying, Don't just bury him. You better go down and make sure he's dead.
Double tap.
Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
tap, yeah.
Oh, is that's Zombieland?
Zombieland,
right?
yeah. Zombieland.
Make sure
Donald
they're
Trump.
dead. Stop playing with the games.
Right. We don't get much from the path. We have no idea what's going on.
Eventually,
With the
Again,
Rebel
useless
Alliance,
group.
I guess.
Well, we don't know if they
We don't
turn
know.
into the Rebel.
It's headcanon. I mean, unless they do something with them in a future project, we know we're gonna see Reva again. Like they left her alive. Do I want to see her again?
She's gonna be in Ahsoka. That's the only logic.
I don't think she's gonna be in Ahsoka. Ahsoka's gonna take place after. I mean, I would think, just during the Mandalorian time, because in the Mandalorian season 2, she goes up to that person and is like, "Where's General Thrawn?" That's after everything.
But what's still stopping Reva from appearing?
Yeah, because Reva could just be a wandering soldier. She could have been a wandering soldier that just disappears. And
I guess she could, yeah. I don't know. I don't feel that's the series for her. I think you need, here we go. The Inquisition, fifth brother, and that one nameless sister. Nothing, useless. They didn't do anything in the series. They were just
eye candy. I mean, they're from Rebels. Well, I know
Rebels.
the guy is. The guy's from Rebels.
Yeah, he is.
And actually, the girl too. I don't remember if she's a new sister or not.
I think she's in Rebels. But the point is, they were just eye candy here. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't they say the Fallen Order was also going to become canon?
Well, Fallen Order is canon, but
canon.
that's what I'm alluding to right now.
So that's going to be where she's probably going to appear. Reva, she's going to appear and probably meet up with the main character from Fallen Order.
Well, I was going to say, I think what they need to do is do a series probably based on the Inquisition and based on some other surviving Jedi and tie it into, or let that be your series. You introduce a character like Cal Kestis, because I think that fits great, because that's the main antagonist in that video game is the Inquisition.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So, and Reva is a survivor, I feel that would be the best bet to see her again, but I'm honestly fine if we don't, because they just left on such a not so great note.
A fart.
Yeah. It's just I don't know.
She overcame her stomach wound from getting stabbed in the stomach.
And she was still in pain.
She was still in pain. At least it wasn't just
I'm healed.
I'm assuming Bacta tanks are like the be-all end-all to like heal, because they still didn't explain how the Grand Inquisitor survived. He got stabbed in the stomach.
Man.
My dude, the will.
The Bacta
you will be
tank.
surprised.
The will to live.
The will to live,
it
my
happened
dude.
with Darth Maul. He got cut in half, fell down a shaft, whatever.
Again, I say like they get carterized.
There we go, dude.
Goodness.
Is the will to live.
I guess.
I guess the last thing, we talked about Qui-Gon, right? We talked about
Qui-Gon. Well, no, we didn't. Qui-Gon.
We mentioned the Force Ghost, and then we got sidetracked like Vader and the rest of them.
Qui-Gon. Yeah, cool to see Qui-Gon. I mean, everybody knew he was going to show up.
Everyone did.
I never cared much for Qui-Gon.
They alluded to his appearance in the beginning of the series,
because
Obi-Wan was trying to reach out to Qui-Gon,
Yeah.
But he was not one with the Force.
Right.
Or, he's not in touch with the Force as he used to be. And also, too, I think he let go of his guilt that he felt towards Anakin, and now he's balanced again.
Now he's able to communicate with him.
Yes.
I wonder what he's going to teach him. Is it just like, hey, I actually have someone to talk to now. I'm not by myself. Or
probably that.
Is it like a teaching that he's going to give him?
Definitely a teaching, because he teaches him how to become a Force ghost.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or maybe continue training him, because Darth Maul does come back later on and dies in the hand of Obi-Wan. So
that is
right.
true.
And he's very in tune at that point, because he strikes him down
one time.
easily.
Yeah, it was a one-hit kill.
And then in episode 4, you know, he tells Darth Vader, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can ever imagine. Which essentially is, the Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it'd be cool. I mean, if they bring back Obi-Wan in any capacity and we actually see more than just, oh, this is what you need to do to become a Force Ghost, that'll be cool to see.
Okay.
Overall, you know, we talked about the finale. Was the series justified?
Series rating, like overall?
Yeah, overall. Just overall. Like, you know, from what you expected it to be, what you got, how much did you enjoy it, how much you disliked it?
It's a low 7 because
okay.
Take out Reva, take out even Leia, take out Leia. If you give me a more intimate story about Obi-Wan and Anakin, then I would have been more satisfied. But all these other things were happening that they cared about for a second, and then they don't. And like I think Dr. Jace, you said it before, they had the end game in mind, and then, or Toasty maybe, and they centered the story around it.
It was me.
But then they didn't know what to do with everybody else.
Yeah,
they did,
and that made it less enjoyable. You know.
Right. I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah. It's a 7, low 7. I'm sorry. I really dig Anakin and Obi-Wan and their story, and that's all I dig. And
right, those were the best parts of the series. I if I were to rank it from what we got so far, like all we have is two seasons of The Mandalorian,
right,
and Book of
Boba
Fett, right? In terms
of as far
action.
As live action goes.
Okay.
Right.
This is better than Book of Boba, 100%. Book of Boba, Book of Boba never found its footing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Book of Boba lost its footing.
It lost its footing, and the good parts, which are problematic, were with The Mandalorian.
Yes.
That's a very big problem. Now, once when I was watching Obi-Wan, did I say the best parts are with Roken doing God knows what? So thank God that didn't happen. But yeah, the Obi-Wan and Vader stuff, that's what I was watching the series for. I probably would have just liked it more focused on them, even though the show's called Obi-Wan. It's about Obi-Wan, but again, it's the side characters that are problematic. They got nothing to do. They kind of just state the obvious, like what we were saying earlier. Roken's his dialogue with Obi-Wan say,
"No, leave Roken alone. They're all bad. They're all bad.
I'm just using him as an example. Everyone, yes, everyone else is bad. Yeah, the final fight scene, they clearly knew where they wanted to be at the end of it all. They filmed that part. I would not be surprised if they filmed that first. They're like, damn, we just sold this fight.
Now let's walk back.
now we got to find a way for you guys to meet. Okay, let's figure it out. And it makes me wonder, again, because Kathleen Kennedy, bless her, you know, in charge of Disney.
Lucasfilm,
right. She was saying that the original scripts for Obi-Wan were more dark than what we got.
But it would get darker.
So it got rewritten. It got through a lot of drafts, and we ended up with the product we have now. And I mean, there's probably a mix of things that made it bad. Deborah Chow, I know Deborah Chow can direct great episodes of Star Wars because we've seen it. I don't think she can handle the entire helm of a series, just judging based on Obi-Wan, because she directed, if I'm correct, she directed every episode of Obi-Wan.
Yep, every episode.
I don't know. I've seen good.
So what's
from
your
her.
rating?
I've seen good from her. I would say I'm in the low 7 as well. The worst I would give is because again, the fight scenes that we got, which like Reva and Darth Vader, the rematch with the first rematch with Obi-Wan and Vader when he's dragging him through the fire and cooking him and beating the crap out of him. I like that. The final fight, I like that, even though Obi-Wan leaving him alive, but whatever. We already talked about it. Despite that, I still like those scenes, but just everything else, I just had like even the Reva backstory. I like the concept behind it, but they needed to iron out more of that stuff to make it make more sense.
And this was not the show to iron it out.
This apparently not. God, at its best, low sevens. Solid, solid 7. Let's just go with that. 7.0 at its best. At its worst, oh my God. Like I would say like 5.5, 6 around.
I wouldn't
there.
give it lower than a 6.
Yeah. I feel like it hovers around there. Just maybe 5.5 is harsh because I'm thinking about where I put Boba Fett. I don't remember where I put Boba Fett. So if I say Obi-Wan's 5.5, that means Boba Fett has to be like a 3 or a 2.
But you see, the issue is Boba Fett was the first mistake. They should not have had a second mistake. They should have learned from their past failures.
I think both of them were probably in production at the same time.
Okay,
yeah,
because
they were like 5 months apart.
Is it 5 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boba Fett started in December.
I thought it was last summer.
End of December. So it bled into the new
okay.
year.
You know what? That's fair. I was gonna give it a 5 because of that. Because for some reason I thought Boba Fett was a lifetime ago. I thought it was last summer. So I was like, you know what? That's enough time for you guys to fix your error. I give it a solid 6. The good part were good. I enjoyed them. But the bad part were garbage. And I'm gonna keep saying it. Unlike you two, I didn't grow up with Star Wars. I still haven't seen the original trilogy movies. All I did is play the video games. So my knowledge is limited. But
wait, you've never seen the original trilogy?
The only thing I know from the original trilogy is the stormtrooper hit his head on the door because it was too high for him, and they kept it.
Gosh.
I know. Look, I am your father because I saw it on Robot Chicken when I was like in middle school, and that's how I first was.
Are you saying your knowledge of the original trilogy are the Family Guy episodes?
Yes, yes.
Oh my God!
I kid you not. My knowledge of Star Wars is limited. I'm not joking with that. My first incident of loving Star Wars was the Clone Wars cartoon, which I didn't watch until the last couple of years, and you know this. So, and I watched the original movies, but I never watched them in order either. I think I only seen the first one. I never seen, not the original, the 2000.
The prequels?
Prequel? The prequels, yeah. I seen the first one when he was a kid, like racing. Yeah. I saw bits of the second and third movie, but I don't know. I don't know the story. Let's just move on from that. I give it a 6. And that's my issue is like, as somebody who is a casual fan or a casual watcher of Star Wars, it did not pull me. I was left with more question than anything. I don't like the world building, especially when I read other stories where the author is careful about power scaling, about what ability characters can use. I feel it's pure laziness. Every episode, I see a character do something else. Every time I think they have a limit, they push it further. It makes no sense whatsoever. So I feel like they need to do a better job. With Star Wars, they have the money to hire writers. Disney doesn't have a lack of money. So they should literally be a department of writers who literally their job is to make sure everything fits properly in the timeline. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. How do you guys fumble the ball that badly that you wrote a character whose story leads to nothing? You guys just watched an entire series and you still don't know what was the goal of one of the characters at the end. That is horrible. Who are they hiring? I'm sure there's not a lack of English major out there that would not love to write a story about Star Wars. I'm sure there's a ton of English major who are Star Wars nerds in this country. It makes absolutely no sense you can fumble the ball like this. And for me, that's not an excuse, especially when, unlike Boba Fett, which is a new character, you can argue it's more difficult to make a story. Character? I mean, in terms of story, because from what I know, Boba Fett only had one scene in the original movies. He appeared for 5 minutes and died. That's what I remember from our podcast. He was not a major player in the OG Star Wars lore.
Yeah,
nobody said He was a side character. You could easily blank and miss him.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
Obi-Wan is not. Obi-Wan is the main character. I'm sure there are hundreds of comics about this thing. Even if Disney made some of them non-canon, you could have drawn inspiration from them. It doesn't hurt. Yet they still fail. For me, that's horrible writing. And again, I hate to use this comparison, but for somebody like me, I'm currently rereading One Piece. I can already tell certain things that the character foreshadow from the first chapter. That is good writing. Over here, horrible. And y'all, the fans, y'all should not be giving them excuse. They should learn from their mistake. Hire a group of people, do a better job. Otherwise, don't write.
Challenging the fandom in ways you do not understand.
My dude, the fanboys need to do a better job because they're clowns. If the fandom, quote unquote, is accepting this clownery, they should not complain about Rey Skywalker. They should not complain. If y'all willing to accept clownery like this, I hope y'all don't complain about Rey Skywalker or any other foolishness that comes out in the future, because you know they're going to keep coming out with foolishness if you don't call them out. That's my opinion. But hey, who do I know? I don't even like Star Wars. Star Trek is way better, by the way. Way better.
That is a topic for another discussion.
Goodness.
But I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying as a whole. It's an uphill battle, I think, trying to write a story in between established stories. And yeah, I think, again, with the Star Wars series, they got a lot to prove. Have they knocked it out of the park with all of them? No. And we'll see. They got another one coming up. They got Andor coming up in August.
Andor.
We'll see what that was.
Is that the forest planet?
No, that's
Andor.
We talked about this. That's
We
Andor.
already talked about this. Yes, we did. Literally last week we talked about this.
Yes. Andor's coming up in August. We got the Ahsoka series next year. Mandalorian season 3 next year.
Yeah.
A new Star Wars Visions season 2 coming out. But
there's also the Bad Batch. There's the Bad Batch.
Oh, yes, right. The Bad Batch has.
I still haven't seen the first season, but the second part is coming out in a couple months. I might watch that because that might fill in the blanks that we might be questioning right now. We might be the dumbasses. For all we know, Reva might appear in that show.
Oh, I don't know of timeline because the Bad Batch doesn't take place 10 years after, but a young Reva could appear.
Yeah.
Star Wars got the makings of making all their entities great, but yeah, you need the competency to back it up.
Yeah.
And yeah, Obi-Wan. I would like to think most of the fans have not been impressed, and maybe that will push them to do better. But we shall see. We shall see. We got many Star Wars products coming out, so we'll see if they can step their game up. But listen, folks, that's it from us here at the Yonkō Table. I'm GrandMasterHoop. That's DrJaceAttorney, and that's Toasty. Be sure to follow us on all social media accounts, and you can, of course, join the Patreon if you wanted to talk to us directly in the Discord. So by all means, listen, let us know your thoughts on Obi-Wan and everything we got going on. Love to hear from you. But with that said, y'all take care. Good night.